Hello and welcome back to Ask 9. I'm Becky Phelps, joined today with Rebekah Vaughan. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I can't believe you've had me back. It's fantastic.
Well, it went so well the first time.
It did, but I thought you might have gotten sick and tired of how much I can talk.
Never. That's actually
Love to
why
hear
you're
it.
back today. We are talking about an issue that has been impacting millions of people across the country for months now.
Yeah, SNAP benefits.
Yes.
And I mean, they really came into the spotlight most recently because of the federal government shutdown and the payments being delayed and how that impact was, the impact was felt on a personal level, food banks, people were taking in donations. So we've focused a lot on it, but it's because there's such a wide impact.
And the impact, as you said, is still ongoing.
It is, which is interesting. I think a lot of people who maybe don't know the full gambit of SNAP benefits and like what they do for people may have thought, oh, the government shutdown is over, they have their benefits, everything is good to go, set, put it aside, it's done. But I learned that that is not the case. People are still recovering from their benefits being delayed.
So you've done a series of stories now based around this lasting impact.
Yeah.
Tell us first how you found out about this story, and then we're going to watch the first story Rebekah did and talk about it some more. But first, how did you get into this story?
No, so we are always looking for that follow-up story to continue just what we've been covering. So when we went and we talked with Operation Give Birds, when they were doing their big food giveaway for Thanksgiving.
Huge deal.
Somebody came up to one of our photographers. This man's name was Josh Rohn. He came up and he said, I received SNAP benefits and I am still dealing with the fallout from it. I'm still having to pay off late bills. He had to get a second job. And he offered, he said, if you guys want to continue doing like a follow-up story, reach out to me.
Wow.
So I did, because again, we want to hear these personal stories of how these people are being impacted.
That's pretty rare, for the record, for us to get approached by the people who are really being impacted by certain stories.
Yes.
So that's pretty rare.
No, it is. And those are the people, though, that when they are able to share those stories, then we can tell stories like this that kind of change that mindset of, oh, the federal government's done, the federal government shutdown is done, the SNAP benefits are fine. We can help people realize that that's not the case, because people like Josh are willing to talk to us.
All right, so let's watch that first story from Rebekah interviewing Josh.
It put so much weight on my shoulders. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do?
Josh Rohn of Marion receives just under $300 a month in SNAP benefits. For about 3 years, he's used the benefits to purchase food and drinks to help him take his medications. He was one of many people in Iowa who had their benefits delayed because of the federal government shutdown.
I went to food banks every single week. It helped out. It gave me enough food to eat for the week.
He works as an Instacart shopper, and when his EBT card wasn't reloaded at the beginning of November, he had to make a choice: food or bills.
My phone bill, I was luckily able to have my family help me out on that, but I kept getting late fees because I couldn't pay it on time.
Family has been able to help him with other bills as well, but he says he can't do that forever.
Everybody's having to rely on everybody, because it's like, if you don't have the money and they shut you off, if you get no heat, no water, you got to choose between either paying bills or, at the time, getting food to keep your family from not starving, or something worse, losing your house.
Rohn picked up an extra job as a snowplow driver to help catch up on his phone bill. But if he hadn't, he says he would have lost access to a necessary medical device on his arm, a Dexcom reading glucose levels in his blood, since he's diabetic. If the government shutdown would have continued longer, he says he risked losing his phone, his Dexcom, and possibly his job.
I can't do the job I have, which is Instacart, personal shopping. And that requires your phone. So if you don't have a phone, you can't do that. You can't keep Dexcom devices or any kind of medical stuff.
Rohn says he wants lawmakers to consider people like him and the ripple-down effect.
In my opinion, they were worried about money. You gotta realize all of us low people We go week paycheck to paycheck, or food stamps to food stamps, or Social Security.
Wow, so clearly that's impacting his health, aside from just like his bills. That's incredible.
It's the health side of things, it's having a job. I mean, it's not just being able to buy groceries.
What was it like for you doing that interview?
It was really interesting because, you know, when we go into these interviews, we have a basic knowledge, we have a foundation going into the interviews. But when the cameras turn on, sometimes you really don't know what people are going to say and what people are going to reveal. So we knew that he was dealing with ripple down effects. We knew, like, the basis of us going into this was we knew he was dealing with the ripple down effects from not getting his benefits on time. We knew that he was having to choose between bills or food, but we didn't know that it was phone bill. We didn't know that his phone is his source of a job with Instacart shopping. And we didn't know that he was diabetic and his Dexcom was attached to his phone. So those are all things that you learn in the moment as the interview is going on. Because again, not everybody's comfortable telling us what they do for a job, their health conditions. So somebody being able to reveal this to us and share this story with us, it really shows you it's not just about going to the store and how much food can go in the shopping cart. And I think that's a story that needs to be shared. People need to understand when we say what's happening with the
people
federal
are being
government
impacted,
shutdown.
but it's your neighbors. You know, it's people that you pass in the grocery store. It's people that you drive past on the street. It's people who are working hard to get by.
Yeah. And if we don't have people, again, like Josh, willing to share these very personal stories, people who may not be aware aren't going to be aware.
So you're working on this story, and this ended up being a series because not only did SNAP come back, but there are still impacts. SNAP is facing some changes here in Iowa.
It is specifically here in Iowa, and it's really revolving around what type of products can be purchased with SNAP benefits. So there's going to come January 1st.
Okay.
There's going to be restrictions on things like candy, soda, some pre-made meals when you walk into a grocery store you can't use an EBT card for those.
Okay, very specific.
Yes, there are, and we have them all on our website, kcrg.com. You'll be able to find them, and a lot more information under the stories as well if you're interested. But the whole point of the changes is to push people towards healthier eating.
Okay, so where are these new restrictions coming from?
The state, yeah.
Okay.
So they are coming from the state. This is something, it's wanting to promote eating healthy with vegetables, fruits, meats, grains, things like that. So when I was speaking with Josh, you know, this is a SNAP recipient, and he is not only impacted by benefits being delayed.
He's got his health to think about.
He's got his health
very
to think
specific
about.
dietary needs, probably.
Exactly. And he's going to be a part of these changes come January 1st, what he can purchase and what he can put in his shopping cart. So I was able to ask him about these changes as well. And he brought up some really good points. The dietary changes, I mean, being a diabetic, being able to have items with sugar on hand could be very important to him. He also brought up people with fresh fruits and vegetable allergies.
Yeah.
So-
I'm allergic to apples. Fun
So
fact.
it's one of those things where people are going to be...
Yeah, that's something you don't think about.
Right,
You're
right.
like, oh, let's eat healthy, but a lot of people have dietary restrictions.
So I wanted to sit down also with a dietitian to see, is this a realistic change? Is this going to make people healthier, like the state is hoping? And her answer was very interesting because it was more of a, we won't know for a few months until research is done on the change, on the new program, and if it's working or not.
Okay, let's play that second story, hear from Josh and our dietitian.
Josh Rohn of Marion receives about $300 a month in SNAP benefits. He uses that money to purchase foods and drinks that help him take various medications. But the items he normally puts in his shopping cart will be changing come January 1st.
You're not going to be able to get any candy stuff, which I kind of I agree with it because, yeah, they want us to eat healthy, but some people need the sugar to keep going.
Roan is diabetic. Candy is just one item that won't be covered by SNAP benefits in the new year. Soda, vitamins, minerals, pre-made foods, and juice made with less than 50% fruit or vegetables are also on the chopping block. The state's goal? Promoting eating foods like meats and fruits.
A lot of us can't afford to get that stuff because of how much it is. Because let's say you get $200 in food stamps a month, and you want to get healthy stuff. It's maybe going to last 1-2 weeks tops.
A local dietitian says price is just one of the barriers to purchasing fresh produce.
Lack of transportation, decreased access to certain types of foods, like if they live in a food desert, decreased time to be able to prepare foods. Maybe they have multiple jobs. Maybe they are caretakers.
Wells says
And
it'll
so
take
there's a lot
time
of
to figure out if this ban is actually beneficial to people's health. The pros?
There is a good amount of research that shows that high sugar food items do not promote health.
As for the cons,
Potentially damaging that freedom of choice, that dignity of that trust in someone to do the best for them in their household and their life.
in Cedar Rapids, Rebekah Vaughan, KCRG, TV9 News.
I want to ask, how did you find that dietitian?
I was searching online, and I had a thought in my head of, picturing who I would like to talk to. And I wanted somebody that had a lot of experience in this specific realm. So Annie Wells, she has her own private practice. I was able to find it just by Googling around, trying to see who was in our area specifically. And she focuses on, her private practice mainly focuses on helping people with eating disorders and things like that. But her master's was very heavily focused in this field of lower income people and their access to fruits and vegetables.
Fascinating.
Yes, it was very fascinating.
Okay. Very
So
interesting.
she had a really good grasp on this topic and just the barriers that the people face to get fresh fruits and vegetables that might be why they don't go the healthier route.
Yeah.
Imagine, put yourself in the shoes of someone who may not have a car and they take public transportation, and you go and you buy a bag of tomatoes to make a salad. So you have to carry that bag on the bus. Depending on where you're sitting or what happens on the bus, the tomatoes could get damaged. They don't have a very long shelf life. So those SNAP benefits might not stretch as far because they can't sit on a shelf for a long time. They could get damaged. And vegetables, fresh produce is just inherently more expensive than buying something that might have more preservatives and could sit on a shelf for a longer time. So there are a lot of barriers that these people face.
It's going to be really interesting to see, like you said, like the first couple months of
Yes.
this. We'll get some research in. It reminds me, we've seen some other initiatives like this here in Iowa. I did a story back when I was reporting earlier this summer about Governor Reynolds' new summer meal program that she's implemented. And it's called Healthy Kids Iowa. This was the first summer. Usually, traditionally, families would get an EBT card and they would be able to use that to buy whatever they wanted. And this summer, Reynolds replaced that with, replaced the Sunbucks program with just giving families every month a prepared bag of food. And that would have healthier options, but also it does kind of reduce the choice element.
Right, and that was something that Annie really hit on is, that feeling of having the freedom to make that choice yourself when you go to the grocery store. That is a big thing that people, that's a big personal decision. And that's really something she hit on is now that they won't have that choice, how is it going to impact them personally, just the feeling of not having a choice.
Yeah, and this summer program, it took kind of a minute to hit its stride. They had a goal of feeding around 8,200 kids a month, and they reached that in July, but In June, they only served close to 5,000 kids. So like the program and these changes will probably take a little bit for people to understand,
Right.
people to know what they can access. So there's going to be a bit of a learning curve, I'd imagine.
Exactly. And Annie was even saying, you know, it'll take time to see how it works. She wasn't able to say, oh, before it even starts, this is going to help people, this is going to hurt people. She was not able to say a definite one way or the other.
Yeah.
And she said she hopes research is done, data is taken as the program begins and goes for a few months. And she really hopes that whether it's going really well or really bad, that it changes to
Just adjust.
best fit the people that it's serving.
Well, very important that people know about this ahead of January 1st.
Correct. That's
when this takes effect.
Yep,
Okay.
that's when it hits.
And like Rebekah said, we have lots more information about the specifics of the changes on our website at kcrg.com. Definitely go and check all of the work that Rebekah put into that. Thank you again for joining us here on Ask 9. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me as always.
Yes, and of course, if you have any questions you'd like us to take a look at, shoot us an email, message us on Facebook, or head over to our website. The Ask 9 page has a submission form. You can send in those questions through. Have a great evening.